So today we're going to talk about the Optocoupler adapter board. This board is used to connect your auto level sensor to your 3D printer main board for your 3D printer. Inside the package we have the adapter board itself along with a couple sets of wires. You get rid of that, set these to the side. This is the Opto adapter board. Basically it is comprised of an optocoupler in the middle, 2 resistors and 2 JST connectors, along with a red and black wire, as you can see. The red and black wire will be connected directly into your power supply. This way you can provide your auto level sensor with the required 6 to 36 volts, so you can use a 12 or 24 volt power supply. You will get 2 sets of wires. To see what goes where, I helped you out as much as I could with this. If you look on the back of the board, you will see you have your black, blue, and brown connectors, which run to your auto level sensor. On this side, you have your ground, your signal, and your 5 volt, which run to your main board. The red and black wires, as I mentioned before, will run directly to your power supply. The matching connector can only be plugged in one direction, so you do not have to worry about that plugging in backwards. So this is your typical 3D printer power supply. On it you can see you have your AC connections over here, which are live, neutral, and ground. Those get wired up prospectively based on your country. Coloring and orientation may differ. The rest of your terminals are your DC outputs. On mine, I have 3 positive and 3 negative DC outputs. To wire up the sensor, I need to connect the red wire to a positive terminal. The black wire will run to a negative. This is hard to do on camera. That is all you have to do to hook up your power. The most common mainboard used is the RAMPS 1.4. The RAMPS 1.4 is known for being able to accept any type of firmware that's available. It is widely used by most 3D print builders. So this is what I expect you to be using as your main board for the installation of this adapter board. That does not mean that it is only compatible with this board, but this is again what I expect you to be using, either building your own printer or upgrading an existing printer. This board comes with 2 of these pre-terminated cables. They have a JST connector on one end, the other ends are left loose. You want to plug your main board into your connector. I have already pre-crimped a cable. On the RAMPS board, you normally have 2 Z end stops. My configuration, which runs off Marlin, you want to use this last set of pins right here. You have your positive, your negative, and your signal wire. I have crimped mine to match the RAMPS board, according to how I standardize my wiring. Now that this connection is fixed, we have our bed leveling sensor. Now this one happens to be an inductive, which I do not recommend to use if you print on a glass bed. This will only detect metal, and this one itself will only sense, I believe, 4 millimeters. But this one also does use the same wiring as, say, the capacitive sensor that I currently am using on my 3D printer with this board. This sensor comes with a brown wire, which is your positive in, a black wire, which is your signal wire, which triggers your Z end stop, and a blue wire, which is your ground wire. Taking notice of which wire is in which orientation on the back of the board. Again, I have already crimped mine. This plug will only plug in one direction. After that, all your connections are made. The last thing I recommend to do is pick up your sensor if you have power to your power supply. You should touch your sensor to preferably a metal surface and make sure that your red light does come on. That does mean that your sensor is working and has a proper voltage, and that your wiring is in the correct order. Thank you for choosing Damn Right Printing, where everything is assembled and tested by humans.